They were born into privilege. Royal princesses, daughters of a prince, granddaughters of a queen. But today, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie are living a nightmare they never asked for. Their father, Prince Andrew, Duke of York, has become one of the most controversial figures in royal history. His scandals have made headlines worldwide. His reputation is in ruins. His titles stripped away and caught in the crossfire. Two women who've done nothing wrong, yet carry the weight of their father's choices every single day. Sources close to the sisters describe them as emotionally drained, exhausted, and barely holding it together. This is the untold story of what happens when your father's downfall becomes your daily reality. When loyalty collides with legacy. When love for family battles with the court of public opinion. This is the story of Beatrice and Eugenie, the forgotten victims of the Andrew scandal. Let's go back to the beginning. August 8, 1988. Princess Beatrice Elizabeth Mary is born at the Portland Hospital in London. Nearly 2 years later, on March 23, 1990, Princess Eugenie Victoria Helena arrives. The daughters of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, these girls were born into a world of palaces and privilege. Fifth and sixth in line to the throne at their births. Royal highnesses, true princesses. Their early years seem charmed. Photos show them at Balmoral with the Queen, at royal weddings, at garden parties. Two red-headed girls with bright smiles, always together, clearly devoted to each other. But even then, there were signs of trouble. Their parents' marriage was turbulent from the start. Andrew was often away on naval duties. Fergie, young and spirited, struggled with royal protocol and constant media scrutiny. By 1992, when Beatrice was just 4 and Eugenie only 2, their parents separated. The divorce was finalized in 1996. Messy, public, humiliating. But here's what made their situation unique. Despite the divorce, Andrew and Sarah remained close. They even lived together for years after the split. They co-parented. They presented a united front. For Beatrice and Eugenie, this meant something crucial. They had both parents actively involved in their lives. Andrew might have had his flaws, but by all accounts, he was a devoted father. Hands-on, present, loving. The girls adored him, idolized him even. As they grew up, they tried to carve out normal lives. Beatrice went to Goldsmiths, University of London, studying history. Eugenie attended Newcastle University, focusing on English literature and art history. They weren't working royals in the traditional sense. They didn't receive money from the sovereign grant. They got jobs. Beatrice worked in business, later in technology and philanthropy. Eugenie became an associate director at an art gallery. They got married. Beatrice to Edoardo Mapelli Mazzi in 2020, Eugenie to Jack Brooksbank in 2018. They started families. They tried to build lives that balanced royal heritage with personal independence. But they could never escape their father's shadow. And that shadow was about to become a storm that would consume everything. July 2019. Jeffrey Epstein is arrested on federal charges of sex trafficking minors. If you don't know the name, Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender and financier who cultivated relationships with powerful people around the world. Politicians, CEOs, scientists, celebrities, and Prince Andrew. Photos emerged of Andrew with Epstein. At parties, on Epstein's private island, flying on his private jet, the one infamously nicknamed the Lolita Express. Then came the bombshell. Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's victims, publicly stated that she had been trafficked to Prince Andrew when she was just 17 years old. She claimed they had sex on 3 occasions, in London, New York, and on Epstein's private island. There was a photo, Andrew with his arm around the teenager's waist. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's accomplice, smiling in the background. The world was shocked. The British public was horrified. And Beatrice and Eugenie? Their world shattered. Imagine it. You wake up one morning and your father, the man who taught you to ride horses, who walked you down the aisle, who holds your children, is accused of sexually abusing a teenage trafficking victim. The media is camped outside your home. Your phone won't stop ringing. Social media is exploding with comments about your family. Strangers are calling your father a predator, a monster. What do you do? How do you even process that? Sources say Beatrice and Eugenie were devastated, confused, torn between believing their father and confronting horrifying allegations. But the worst was yet to come. November 2019. Prince Andrew sat down for what would become one of the most disastrous interviews in royal history. The BBC's Newsnight. Emily Maitlis asking questions. Andrew trying to defend himself. And it was a catastrophe. He claimed he couldn't have been with Virginia Eugenie on the night in question because he was at Pizza Express in Woking with Beatrice. He said he couldn't sweat due to a medical condition, contradicting Eugenie's description of him. He showed no empathy for Epstein's victims. No remorse. No understanding of how his answers sounded. The public reaction was immediate and brutal. Within days, Andrew was forced to step back from royal duties. Companies and charities dropped him. His military titles and patronages were stripped away. His reputation was destroyed overnight. And through it all, Beatrice and Eugenie stood by him. Because what else could they do? He's their father. But that loyalty would come at an enormous cost. Behind closed doors, sources say the princesses are struggling. Emotionally drained is the phrase that keeps coming up. Friends describe them as exhausted, stressed, carrying a burden that grows heavier every day. Let's talk about what this actually means for their daily lives. Every time they appear in public, the questions start. Why are they supporting him? Do they believe the allegations? Are they complicit in covering things up? At Beatrice's wedding in 2020, a small, private ceremony during COVID restrictions, the media still managed to make it about Andrew. Headlines focused on whether he should have been there, whether it was appropriate for him to walk her down the aisle. The happiest day of her life, overshadowed by her father's scandal. Eugenie posted a heartfelt message defending her father on social media, calling him the best man I know. The backlash was swift and harsh. People called her tone-deaf, privileged, out of touch. Some accused her of dismissing sexual abuse victims. Every social media post is scrutinized. Every public appearance analyzed. Every word they say dissected for hidden meanings. The rest of the royal family has largely distanced themselves from Andrew. He no longer appears at major events. He's been removed from public life. The palace has made it clear he's on his own. But Beatrice and Eugenie refuse to abandon him. This has created tension. Reports suggest King Charles wants to further slim down the monarchy and has no intention of bringing Andrew back into the fold. Some senior royals reportedly feel the sisters' public support of their father reflects poorly on the institution. There are whispers that Beatrice and Eugenie feel isolated, that they're treated differently by other family members, that invitations are selective, that there's judgment in every family gathering. Princess Anne, known for her no-nonsense approach, has reportedly made clear that Andrew's situation is his own making. Prince William and Kate keep their distance. Even the Queen, in her final years, made the difficult decision to strip Andrew of his military affiliations and HRH title in official capacity. For Beatrice and Eugenie, every family event becomes a minefield. In 2022, Andrew settled a civil lawsuit with Virginia Eugenie. No admission of guilt, but a settlement reportedly worth millions. Where did that money come from? Reports suggest the Queen helped, that Andrew sold a Swiss chalet, that his finances are in shambles. And who's been managing the fallout? Who's been there for the practical, day-to-day consequences? Beatrice and Eugenie. Sources say they've been instrumental in helping their father navigate his new reality, managing his emotional state, dealing with advisors, supporting their mother, Sarah, who's also stood by Andrew through it all. It's exhausting work, the kind of work that takes a toll. One friend of the princesses described it this way. They wake up every day knowing they'll be judged for something they didn't do. They love their father, but they're not naive. They see how it looks. They understand why people are angry. But what are they supposed to do? Abandon him? He's their dad. Another source said, Beatrice has had panic attacks. Eugenie struggles with anxiety. They're constantly torn between loyalty and self-preservation, between protecting their own families and supporting their father. The emotional toll is real, and it's devastating. But there's another layer to this that makes it even more heartbreaking. Beatrice and Eugenie are mothers now. Beatrice has a daughter, Sienna, born in 2021, and a stepson from her husband's previous relationship. Eugenie has two sons, August, born in 2021, and Ernest, born in 2023. And every day, they face impossible questions. How do you explain this to your children? How do you reconcile the grandfather they know, who presumably loves them, plays with them, is present in their lives, with the public figure accused of horrifying acts? What happens when their children are old enough to Google their grandfather's name? When they read the headlines? when other kids at school mention it? How do you protect them from that? And there's the matter of their own reputations and futures. Both sisters have tried to build meaningful careers. Beatrice works in technology, focusing on artificial intelligence and digital policy. Eugenie is passionate about art and charity work, particularly around modern slavery and ocean conservation. But their father's scandal follows them everywhere. Job opportunities disappear when companies don't want the association. Charity work becomes complicated when organizations worry about public perception. Partnerships fall through. Doors close. One royal commentator noted, "They're being punished for their father's choices. They've done nothing wrong, yet they carry his shame." It's grossly unfair, but it's the reality of being a royal. The public is divided. Some sympathize with Beatrice and Eugenie. They see two women trapped in an impossible situation, trying to navigate loyalty and love while understanding the gravity of the allegations against their father. Others are less forgiving. They argue that continuing to support Andrew, appearing with him in public, defending him online, minimizes the experiences of abuse victims. That privilege shouldn't shield anyone from accountability. On social media, the debate rages. They're his daughters. Of course they stand by him. That's what family does. Standing by him means dismissing his accusers. They need to make a choice. They're victims too. Imagine living with this every day. They have platforms and privilege. They should speak out about abuse, not defend an accused abuser. There's no easy answer. No clear right or wrong. Just two women, emotionally drained, trying to survive a nightmare they never created. So where do Beatrice and Eugenie go from here? Sources say they're just taking it day by day, focusing on their children, supporting each other. The bond between the sisters has only strengthened through this ordeal, trying to maintain some semblance of normal life. But the scandal isn't going away. New revelations about Epstein and his circle continue to emerge. Legal documents are unsealed. Names are released. The story stays in the headlines. And every time it does, Beatrice and Eugenie are dragged back into the spotlight. There are reports that King Charles has made it clear Andrew will never return to public royal duties, that he's persona non grata in official royal circles, that the institution is moving forward without him, which means Beatrice and Eugenie face a choice: fully integrate into the working royal family, which likely means distancing themselves from their father publicly, or remain on the periphery, supporting Andrew but sacrificing their royal roles. Friends say the emotional drain is taking its toll, that Beatrice and Eugenie are exhausted, that they sometimes wonder if they can keep doing this, that they feel trapped between love and legacy, between duty to family and duty to themselves. One palace insider put it simply: they're surviving, but they're not thriving. And it's heartbreaking to watch. At the end of the day, Beatrice and Eugenie didn't choose this life. They were born into it. They didn't choose their father's friendships. They didn't choose his decisions. They didn't create this scandal. But they live with its consequences every single day. Two princesses, two mothers, two women trying to find their way through a storm that shows no signs of stopping. The crown is supposed to be a blessing, a legacy, an honor. But for Beatrice and Eugenie, it sometimes feels like a curse. Will they find a path forward? Can they rebuild their lives while their father's scandal continues to unfold? Will the royal family ever fully embrace them again? Or will they remain the forgotten princesses, casualties of a scandal not of their making, emotionally drained by a burden too heavy for anyone to carry?